3. ECSports. I think this is number 15. Got Danny. It's All-Star Weekend in the extremely exciting Salt Lake City, Utah.
Oh man,
I'm
Disneyland.
killing it down there. It's like
Nice
demolishing
views
here in
though.
Chicago.
Amazing views though.
Oh yeah,
On
it was
Yeah, but
just
nothing to do outside the arena
is
and
that
probably some
true?
sports. Nothing really to do, but hey, you know.
Have you heard? Have you like you've never been there, have you?
I stopped there like twice
You
for a connecting flight.
they
So
let
yeah.
you drink in the airport? I heard that the content is
See, that's the thing. I stopped for maybe an hour and then just I didn't really grab a
I
drink.
heard.
I didn't really spend some time at Salt Lake City's airport, but
They lower the content of their liquor, that they close everything. It's just
Utah dog. What do
epitome
you
of the
expect?
difference of All-Star Weekend. But it did happen. It's there. Today's Sunday. It's the game.
Probably
What's
one of my more favorite weekends of the year, honestly.
it
Also,
was. It
yeah,
was.
yeah, it was.
It was. I don't know, man. Like I cover the league, covered it forever, but it's getting to the point of what is this? Like it's everything's so moist,
Mhm.
charmony, and oh, we've heard it all, but we have to speak of it like they're picking the reserves first, just to make sure that we're pacifying anyone that might get picked last.
I don't get it. I don't get it. I think that
What?
should motivate someone. I think that should motivate someone to play harder, or that could be like an embracing moment. Like, you are still an all-star. You're one of the best 25 players in the world
Didn't
in this
KD say
in
something
pick.
of all people?
What was it?
Didn't KD
Yeah, Katie was saying like, yeah, I don't know why we're doing this. It's like picking the brokest millionaire in the room. Hello. Yeah, of course. I think Adam Silver's product for All-Star Weekend has become, like how you said, watered down, but a little mediocre. I appreciate them always trying to do something new, but at the same time, it's like if it's not broke, why are we fixing it? You know what I
especially
mean?
man, it's like I get like I like the
You like the Elam ending, like the first to like
I don't even know if I like that. I mean, I understand like Saturday, like the dunk contest is a dunk contest, bro. Everybody's like, oh, it shouldn't be last. Like All-Star Saturday, like to be honest, I would say probably the home run derby in MLB is extremely, fun for baseball fans. I think basketball has always been a staple in reference to All-Star break and how exciting it is, whether, people make it like Super Bowl weekend where they just go out to that city. We've had it here a couple years back, even though it's literally leading into COVID. It was like really the last big event prior to COVID smacking us. And it's just, I've always loved the NBA All-Star Weekend, but as you said prior to the show, it's getting kind of scary, and how we're like how these players are, how the league is becoming like there's a very last of a, I don't want to say dying breed, just the breed is leaving. You're not getting a lot more players. You think you had mentioned Anthony Edwards, it said something.
Yeah. Yeah, he's saying like, I'm gonna go hard. Like, I'm trying to win the MVP. I'm trying to go out for it. He doesn't want to miss games. There's a lot of things to, the league now. And it's like, being a big Kobe Bryant fan, the one thing he always said is like All-Star Weekend, I'm taking pride in every single possession because you don't know when the next time you're gonna be here is. And the second thing is like, if you don't play hard against the best players in the world, when are you playing hard? Now he's also not saying I'm not trying to go out there and try to, go for 60, but have some pride in some possessions, play hard. Yeah, competitive, get the juices flowing. Like he said he made a promise to his teammates every year that like, okay, I'm gonna give it my all. If you guys want to join me, do it. If not, he's like, it's sorry ass on the bench. Like, try to have some pride into this game because it's an honorable game, honestly.
It is.
From the eras of Kareem and even before that, like when the All-Star was announced, I mean, you're looking at guys like Jerry West and Kareem and Oscar Robertson and Wilt, and then going into like the more modern day guys like Julius Irvings, the Magics and Birds and Isaiahs, and then to Jordan, and then from the Kobe's and Shaqs. Like there's so many, and even LeBron, like playing through all these like years, like
Yeah.
they got to show some pride into this game too, and that's another thing.
It's
Like
getting a little too crazy. Like they're picking a team an hour prior to the
I
game.
think it's a cool concept, but I just don't like how Adam Silver's like, no, there's no last pick. This isn't like the schoolyard. Well, it should be. Like these guys played schoolyard basketball all their lives. Like
But
they're
the reason I like it, it's kind of like reason I don't like it and how I like the previous is East versus West.
yeah,
West
that was cool. Yeah.
you play twice a year, one at home, one away. So you're getting some matchups that you rarely get to see where, you don't know if a guy got hurt maybe or he was out
Mm-hmm.
with an injury.
Mm-hmm.
You probably didn't get to see Kobe versus LeBron a lot. So
Yeah.
you're looking forward to the All-Star game or
I
Matt
know. Yeah.
versus Michael. So like it's just like when they took away like the high school thing, although these high school kids, once you open the floodgates to let them in the NBA, everybody's gonna
Try to commit. Yeah.
try to commit and then they're not gonna get drafted and that's it. Now you just got a bunch of kids lingering around trying to get deals elsewhere and it's
Well, you
just
know how it is now too. It's like even if they did that, I think more kids playing ball or trying to become like Instagram stars and highlight real stars to make money off that
yeah.
rather than going to the league. But I don't know. I'm not gonna speak upon that. But any favorite all-star moments that like, you saying like this is the biggest weekend, right? And for me as a kid, I remember like coming home, watching everything from the celebrity game, watching everything from the pregame to All-Star Saturday night, 3-point cons, all that. Watching the pregame, all the moments, like the biggest moments from that too, and all that. So it's like the nostalgia for me is still there, but it's not. But do you have any favorite moments?
Absolutely. 1988, that was the year Jordan got the MVP, the dunk contest, the all defensive. He's a defensive player of the year. It was just his year. And he had a dunk contest against Dominique, who everybody said Dominique was his biggest competition. And, I'm a huge Jordan fan. And, I sat and watched it live and I was looking at it like, damn, Dominique beat Mike, and Mike did like the free throw dunk twice. I'm not gonna say it because you can't mess
It was
with.
in Chicago Stadium, right? The
Yeah, it
old
was in Chicago Stadium. I won't say the outcome, the real one, but Michael won, and everybody remembers that. Obviously, remember like the Jordan Kobe All Star game. For some reason, like I said, Shaq was in my top five. I remember Shaq decapitating David Robinson on a dunk. I remember always just seeing like what shoes the dudes were gonna wear in an All-Star game. Like Mike would always release new shoes. I remember Scotty releasing the infrareds, Larry
Mhm.
Bird and Magic wearing their Converse. So there's a lot of stuff from the 80s and 90s that I'll always remember. And that's why I hate that they're kind of putting their own recipe in the
Yeah.
All-Star game when they should just let it be. So my wife always tells me when I make something good, she's like, could you please not change the recipe? I love it how it is now. When you make it again, you always try to add something more. Just leave it
See,
alone.
it's
Yeah.
like if it's not broke, don't fix it. Like I just
Yeah.
remember being a kid, like seeing, and I remember this distinctively, like Mariah Carey coming out in that Jordan dress for
Mm.
Jordan's last All Star game. Remember that one? Like very legendary, hitting the shot over Sean Marion, but then freaking, I think it was Jermaine O'Neal who fouled somebody at the end. Like you idiot, we could have won. The East could have won it. Jordan's last thing, like, and I was like a Jordan Kobe fan at the time, like kind of mixed because being living in Illinois and all that, everyone's a Jordan guy, and like I still like Kobe, but the other ones I really remember, honestly, I remember when Kobe and Shaq shared the MVP. That
Mm.
was a good because they kind of mended that relationship back. And then, man, another Kobe moment, which would be like 2011 when he won the MVP in LA.
Yeah.
And this was like when Lob City was coming up. D Rose was in the All Star game starting. He was balling out. I remember he had these yellow shoes and he
Yeah.
switched them on at halftime because he was getting nervous with them. But there's a lot of good all-star memories, honestly. Like every year it brings something in, like dunk contest wise, like Jason Richardson. I remember that was one of the probably when he played for the Warriors
Yeah.
and he was balling out. That was like the first time I seen a guy do like a between the legs like that, like reverse. So many good moments, I'm telling you. And now it's just like, man, do I even remember anything in these last 5 All-Star games?
Like it's great. Like I'm not gonna disrespect,
Like,
even though
you know
he's
what? Zach LaVine and
yes,
Aaron Gordon.
yes, yes.
Those guys. Aaron Gordon twice
Both
actually
of
put
them,
on
both of them.
shows.
But
Zach LaVine put
Zach
on shows too.
shows, yeah. Those dunk contests, I feel brought back the dunk contest because there were some terrible ones in between there. But when
Yeah,
they
but then
came back, it made it more exciting, and they just went back to
yeah.
you know.
It's like why they regress. I remember Curry versus Thompson in a final for the 3-point.
Yeah,
That was cool. That was
yeah.
cool too. But again, these All-Star weekends, man, like what's gonna get the league back to, man, like I am glued to the TV from start to finish. Is it just like stars showing out? Is it formats? What do you think it's gonna be to get us back into that kind of, man, this is so nostalgic feeling?
Because everybody
Again.
nowadays, everybody just looks for like that quick fix, and it's like not like just straight basketball anymore. Like I used to enjoy getting ready for the game. Oh, 5 o'clock's coming. I get my whatever food and drinks I want, and then I look for the introduction.
Players jersey and all that.
Like, yeah, I wait for the intros, and now it's like, man, it's All-Star Sunday, and I'm not like, oh, they're playing. Okay.
I
It's
just don't want it to
unfortunate.
end up like the Pro Bowl. I just don't want
Yeah,
it to end up like the
yeah,
Pro Bowl.
because
I
that
don't. It's the
was
one thing I don't want it to end up like.
so bad, man. Like basketball is basketball. You can play a pickup game. That's why they're picking their team an hour before. But back in the day, like Kobe, Mike, and them, like they were competitive. They were trying to win, and they were playing defense. And yeah, at the end of a half or at the end of the game, yeah, you're probably going to get like 30, 40 seconds of a dunk contest, but that's it. So, I mean, I hope they go back to just the regular format. Pardon me for showing my age, but I enjoyed that. It made it fun. It made me look forward to it. And now it's kind of like I still go to the games, bro. I'm just like I used to enjoy like when Derek was here. Prior to that, I even enjoyed going to the Eddie Curry, Tyson Chandler games because they were competing, and those are dudes that everybody laughed at that Bulls team, but there were literally like 4 All-Stars on that team.
Yeah.
So like, I don't know, man. I just
I just
wish.
also want the players to wear their own
Yeah,
jerseys,
yeah,
like in a way. That was pretty cool.
yeah.
But I just know the product has to get better, especially now, like outside All-Star game, like when I'm watching this and like I even saw Adam Silver comment on this, which is kind of contradicting. It's like players who are making public trade requests are corroding the league while you're letting this happen.
Yeah,
It's
you're
getting me
allowing
for
it.
a really bad CBA, and especially with this trade deadline happening now. And I'm not mad. Anyone who wants to leave their team, whatever, you got it. You have to handle that with your own organization. I'm mad that you're not honoring contracts in a sense,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
at the
It
same
doesn't even
time,
matter anymore.
it's like, okay, Durant goes to Phoenix now. That
Hmm.
was crazy.
Yeah.
The Lakers make a miraculous flip of Russell Westbrook and turning it into 3 solid guys and doing that, and got rid of Patrick Beverly. So there's that. Teams. The Nets getting back Mikal Bridges from that Durant trade. Kyrie's going to the Mavs. There
Mhm.
are a lot of moves that happen that now Adam Silver is saying it's going to corrode the league, but you're letting this happen. So
Yeah.
what do you think in the next offseason, in this offseason, what they're going to come up with and talk with and how they're going to handle trades? Is it going to make for a bad league
I don't know what they're
or
gonna
a
do.
better league or at least like change some of these trade rules?
Something has to happen with the trade rules because like when dudes sign these 5-year deals, it's like it doesn't matter. You're not going to be there in 5 years. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
maybe
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if maybe it should only be an option where I don't know what they can do. You could only go to a team that's in the lottery. I don't know.
Yeah.
Something
Well,
because they're already talking about getting rid of Zach. Zach just signed a max. It's like I get the player side and I get the team side, but
mhm.
NBA and MLB are guaranteed. Like I was trying to tell my guy at work, like he was like, "Well, he's going to do the buyout because Utah wants him." I'm like, "Bro, that is a guaranteed contract. If Russell Westbrook wants to stay home at the end of the day, he can.
Yeah.
He could sit on the bench and still get his 40 whatever million. People don't get that.
Yeah.
They just think they have to do buyouts. They don't. It's an agreement between the team and the player.
Yeah.
So
I think the whole long-term contract thing in the next, if it's the next CBA, I don't know if there's gonna be a lockout or anything, but they're gonna have to shorten these deals and make it like, okay, You can sign a max deal, shorter term periods for smaller amounts of money, but it ends up being equal. So like a 3-year 120, still $40 million a year. They're going to start doing smaller contract. It's the only thing that makes sense. You're not going to see these deals like a Gilbert Arenas deal that's 7 years, possibly 8 years, Rashard Lewis deal that's 7 years for one team. No, those days are over.
Yeah.
Especially people wanting to team up, people wanting to leave, people want to opt out early, people want player options. They don't want team options anymore. There's a lot of things I think they have to shorten the years and condense the money where it equals out. But man, if they don't agree to something, you might see another 2011. I'm just saying. It's going to be
funny because you're saying that NBA has to shorten, whereas Major League Baseball is like doing.
Hey, here's a 12-year, $400 million.
They're doing crazy ass, but more money hockey deals, you know, and it's just like, all right, why tell your kid, man?
With the stars, man, like guys who actually like, there's only a certain amount of guys that want to be at the team they drafted. I don't know what it is for some reason. Everyone's just like, you know what, screw it. I want to try my own thing. I want to do my own thing. Fine. If you want to do that, well, then it's going to cause issues. And now it's like, okay, kiss those 5-year deals goodbye. And then it's just going to be like 3-year max, watch. Or 2 years plus 1 player option. That's all you get.
Yeah. Or the team could, I don't know, something. Because if a player just get, I don't want to be here, like Kyrie said, like I love how Kyrie plays. It's just he's been on what now, 4 teams, 5, 4. And it's just like, bro.
I mean, look at Durant. This is their team. Durant's joined his 4th super team, basically. I mean, there's a lot of guys who are on the move. Harden was one of them. Now I think he found a home in Philadelphia, but still Harden was one of those guys who were like constantly trying to get out, trying to move.
And it's crazy because if you look at Durant's story coming up, he's always like kind of, self-conscious about how he played and all of that. And he's a grown-up now, and you could tell he's a self-conscious dude, like he makes fake Twitters to, do whatever his fans. I know that's old, but like if you're not an alpha dude, bro, like it's gonna show. You know what I mean? Sometimes
I mean, like, he should have just like at this point, it's like, oh, why don't you just stay with Golden State? Well, I didn't want to be with Draymond and Steph. I wanted my own thing. I wanted to experience something in Brooklyn. Okay, then why don't you stay in Brooklyn? Well, I wanted to stay in Brooklyn, but this happened. So there has to be like agreement between ownership and player. There has to be like some kind of like, we can get into this. This could be 3 episodes long, honestly. But
I mean, it's just not what it was. But I mean, hopefully the league, understands that
it's gonna get corrected. Just like how the stock market got corrected, it's gonna be corrected. Watch. Something's gonna bottom out, and then all of a sudden it's back to normal. It will happen. It might take a lockout. Honestly, it might take a lockout, but it will happen.
Because it's like the coaches are at a point where now, like
who am I coaching?
Yeah. Players run everything. You know what I mean? Before it's like, all right, the coach has some semblance of just control, not in a literal sense, but just, all right, I can control my team. If I don't want to play this guy due to his lack of preparedness and practice or whatever, then okay. But now it's just like, man, fuck this coach, I'm up. You know what I mean? Like Ben Simmons, big example, like with him and Doc. Like it was just, I'm sure there's a lot of issues with, mental health. And sometimes it's like back in the day, I mean, let's talk about mental health. Put yourself with a Chuck Daly and, Pop in his prime that,
go have a drink at the bar and then come talk to me. Yeah, like go relax. Yeah, it's nothing like they wouldn't like go into it so deeply. But, there's times of change. I get it. I'm just saying, like, this league, it's going to get corrected. It's like I said, it's going to get just like the stock market. It's going to get corrected.
I mean, I guess
it will, but you'll see it bottom out.
Yeah. So,
picks for today. What do we got?
Free agency and the draft is coming up as well with free agency in the NFL. Obviously in Chicago, we are now getting the trade Justin Fields for Bryce Young, blah, blah, blah. I don't know if you've seen this.
You called it.
Yeah.
You called it.
And I want it. What's the Todd McShay and I believe one other guy now.
Mel Kiper?
No, it wasn't Mel Kiper.
Ian
Uh,
Rappaport.
Actually, let's bring Ivan in for this one too, for the NFL situation. But I think it was Todd McShay stating that Bryce Young is a mini Pat Mahomes.
Oh God, here we go.
So this
Here.
is, as a Bears fan, this is what we need to move forward with, the picks. But what do you think of people that are placed in that position saying things about a dude that everybody, and I'm just going off of what I read and what I hear, that he's 5'10" and he's in the high 180s, close to 190, comparing him to actually not probably, the greatest player in the game right now, and Pat Mahomes.
Are you want my take on this? I
Yeah.
mean, I think it's a good dude. They are some great salesmen over there. They are some awesome salesmen. Like if I needed a house or a car, I'm calling those guys to sell me on that product because Bryce Young is great. He's a great collegiate quarterback. I think he is a first round pick. He deserves a top 10, top 15, whatever the case. Even if he goes number one, I get it. I get what they're trying to do. But to compare him to a mini Patrick Mahomes, I'm hearing they were doing Patrick Mahomes comparisons to Caleb Williams at USC because he can kind of fit the mold. He's like 6'3", kind of big.
Yeah.
But like Bryce Young, I mean, just laser quick release, all the good stuff. But to sell him as a mini Patrick Mahomes, that's just a little. They're driving up the price a little bit high, and I
The
get what
funny
they're
thing
trying
is,
to do.
Courtney Cronin of ESPN, she had asked a great question. She's like, these guys, they talk about all of these comparisons, but they have no backup. They're like the Billy Donovan of NFL reporting. They got all the solutions. I'm saying they
Yeah,
got all of the answers. Hey, he's this, he's that. But
but
where's
let me.
your what do you got?
Like if I watch Bryce Young tape, I don't really see Patrick Mahomes. I just see a really good, accurate passer who like Patrick Mahomes is one of one. Like you can't. The only guy I've seen do things Patrick Mahomes had done before in the past is like Aaron Rodgers in his prime.
Yeah. What do you say, Ivan? We just brought you in the middle, but the NFL is getting in full swing with the draft coming up. Obviously, living in Illinois, our draft situation is totally different than the guys out on the West Coast and abroad. So, what do you say?
I mean, if you guys are speaking on like Bryce Young, he's a junior, correct?
Is he?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think he's a junior. I think he is a junior is what I'm looking at here. But I mean, I really like, my personal opinion is Caleb Williams from USC. I mean, this guy's first in TDs. He's third in yards from this last season, and he's only a sophomore.
Yeah, so he can't come out this year.
He's coming out next year.
Kind of worthless for this year, but we were talking like how the NFL is moving towards the draft and how the prognosticators and everybody are saying, oh, the Bears maybe should trade Justin Fields for Bryce Young, or they should keep Justin Fields and trade down, or blah, blah, blah. Basically, the lead up to the draft, and how everybody is just, are they just building like walls? Like I got to the point where they were dudes from it was Chris Spielman, by the way, the other guy, Dan, who worked with Kevin Warren, and now they're getting like, oh, maybe Kevin Warren called him and said, hey, why don't you speak up and make us look even better?
Drive the trade value up like 50%. Like,
I mean, that's just what it is. But before I forget, since I got both of you on, what do you guys think about Justin talking about, I don't know if you heard it, he was talking about the weather in Chicago and how he doesn't want to play outside anymore?
I did not see that.
I don't think anyone who lives in Chicago wants to go across
He was on Barstool Big Cat's podcast, and basically they asked him, so do you want them to get a dome or you want to stay outside? He's like, they got to get a dome. Chicago weather, it just totally changes my game. Like they got to get it. He didn't even like nicely put it diplomatically. He's like, yeah, we got it.
Oh my God.
Do you want to defrost your car in 10-degree weather? No.
I get it, but bro, you're his publicist.
I mean, it's like, okay, they're talking about Bryce Young right now. They're talking about the draft. You just mentioned the weather not looking too nice. I'm not saying pack your bags, but goddamn, have a duffel bag ready because you might be out. But
Yeah, because
I
you're
think
you're
go ahead.
drafting a team, like you get drafted by a team that plays in cold weather. Like that's just how it is. Like you got to respect the fact that you're in Chicago. That's like,
And regardless of the fucking stadium, it's going to be at
yeah,
least
you're getting a
5
bag,
years.
bro. Like
It's
what?
4 to 5 years, bro.
And I
Minimum.
also think it's like the weather is kind of a home field advantage. If you're playing the Chargers and they come to Chicago, they're gonna get busted because the weather is gonna be bad. Like, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
But you
Exactly.
know, it is what it is. It was a comment that I guarantee you some Bears fans are gonna be like, well, you know, you shouldn't have said something about the weather.
They
Yeah.
already were, bro.
Yeah.
What
So
are you talking about?
yeah. Are you talking? Are you
Oh, where
serious?
he is?
No, oh man, I gotta
That's
go
crazy.
my driveway. Yeah, like
Minus points for Justin Fields for that, because
but
Yeah. Talk
if
to your
come on.
pal.
if I have a question.
Yeah.
Situation happens where they actually do that. They trade Justin Fields and they get Bryce Young. What are your thoughts on that? Like, what would be your instant reaction to that? Do you think that's a? Would you be upset?
You said my instant reaction would be to hit Danny and say, "Hey, send me a Raiders hat because I'm no longer a Bears fan."
Oh my God.
You're laughing. I'm so serious. If they
Okay.
trade Justin Fields, I'm not a Bears fan.
I 100% agree with you there.
I'm
I
not
mean,
a
that's
Bears.
very tough.
And like I told Dylan, like the only thing that they could say, and it's all around any sport, is they didn't draft him. It's not their guy.
That's their guy. Exactly. I was just
Yeah.
about to say that.
That's
You
it.
blame the new regime.
Yes, still, because everybody
100%.
watched the games last year. If you trade Justin Fields, go fuck yourself. I am no longer a Bears fan after 40 plus years. That is true. But Ivan, you're the sports guy. You're the numbers guy. What we got this week?
For this All-Star game,
Even though you have no idea who's playing with each other.
exactly, which is that's very tough to like kind of pick out who's gonna get MVP, who's gonna be start. I mean, there already is starters and whatnot like lined up. But I like LeBron's team
Is
to
Giannis
win.
out? Not to cut. Is Giannis out?
Giannis, right now
Plus
he's
900.
questionable.
So I don't know.
But it is. I wouldn't be surprised if him and LeBron do sit out. To be honest, because he was injured going into that Chicago game. He left during that game, so I wouldn't be surprised if they did sit out. But there's no real DeMar. I believe he is playing. I didn't see anything.
Just so you guys know, he's missed the last 3 games here, but he's playing.
Yeah. Yeah, I think what I'm seeing on here is that there's no injury reserved for him or saying that he's injured. So, but it looks like he might play.
Missed 3 of your team's games, but you're in Utah for that All-Star.
Yeah, I mean, he was supporting Io. He was supporting, my boy Carleek Jones. That's how it goes. So he's got support in some type of way. I mean, regardless who's going to be out there, but in regards to who's going to win this game, it will be LeBron James's team. This guy is 5-0 in the All-Star game since he's been in it. And then he's 3-2 ATS. Numbers at -3. I think he can still cover that. Money line on LeBron is at -145 now. In terms of like MVP, since I do think Giannis and LeBron, like I wouldn't be surprised if they did sit out in this game. I really think Donovan Mitchell at +14. It was at +14, opened up at 1,400. Now it's 12-1 for his MVP because he's going to be returning in Utah. The last time he was in Utah, he dropped 46. He took at least 18 threes just to get there. So he's going to be shooting lights out in Utah for the fans. That's my MVP pick. I was going to go with LeBron too if he does play. I mean, LeBron's always going to show out in these type of situations. So, but if you want that long shot, Donovan Mitchell is that guy, especially when he's returning in Utah. But in terms of the total, it's at 326. 326 is a pretty high number. The last few All-Star games was at 325. That went under. It was then the last one before that was at 319. That went over, but it landed at 320, so it went 1 point over. Before that, 305.5, it landed at 312. And then the last game before that one was at 315, and that landed at 342. That was the only time it went up on that 326 number, which is what it's at now. So I would go under for that game because the stats I just kind of told you is leaning towards that under due to that number at 326. So
All right. Well, like we said, it's All-Star Sunday, and I guess people are looking forward to it. You know, maybe the younger generation like Ivan, even Danny, they'll watch it. I'll check it out. You know, I'm chilling, so we'll see what happens. But it's not like it used to be. Hopefully, he'll get back there. So yeah, we'll see you guys next week. There is no real sports coming up. We got to talk like baseball, and we have the John Jones coming up though. So
Hockey.
that's going to be
Good old hockey,
Yeah, go hockey.
Hockey.
This is where the sports journalistic stuff comes in these next few weeks. When there's no football, no like basketball is kind of in its, you know, the end where, you know, players are getting ready for the playoffs and they know where their seating's going to be. So
it's great. March Madness is coming up. I mean, that's going to be fun.
That's going to be exciting. March Madness.
Because I have no clue. Number one just keeps. I'm looking forward to Northwest.
I typically tune in to the end of February conference tournaments. It starts getting exciting. A lot of stuff brews. It's gonna be a fun tournament.
Awesome. All right, guys. I'll see you next week. ECSports.